Hello, I'm ToejahM, and I'm your temporary ship's captain. I'm going to give you my take on a new player guide. Personally, I've streamed 2,000 hours of Sea of Thieves on Twitch, mostly solo. I have videos of Sea of Thieves on my channel here for tips and tricks, how to use, highlight reels from charity and competitive events with and against some of the best players in the game. I've also had the pleasure of sailing with the developers in their weekly stream. But one video I've neglected is this new player guide, which is happening right now. So let's start right off with me telling you what Sea of Thieves is to me. Sea of Thieves for me is a place where I can find people to interact with on many different levels. Now don't get me wrong, I mostly want to scrap with everybody that I find, though I do follow a code. I love combat in most games, as it's what I enjoy the most. But I've had some hilarious non-violent encounters, and I love that too. The gold you get from the tasks you complete, or that you take from other people, for me is personally a bonus. Though for some, gold is all that matters, and it's purely up to you what you make a Sea of Thieves. Alright, intro out the way. Let's talk about what you see when you first hit this little splash screen here. This is what you see when you've completed this Maiden Voyage. So, it looks a little bit different for you guys, it does to me, because this is my pirate and I've had it for a while. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the in-game settings and what I think you should use. But I'm not going to go through every single setting. I'm just going to give you a few things that you might miss or not find out for quite a while. So keyboard and mouse, I have a bunch of different binds, but you can bind food, planks and other things to specific buttons. So definitely do that once you've played the game for a little bit. The controller, I have custom binds again because I use it for challenges. In gameplay, there's 3 different ones that I would change. The first one is turn the crew status tags on. This will allow you to see your crew anywhere on the map and see exactly what they're doing. You can replace the gamer tags if you're making content for YouTube or if you're live streaming on Twitch or something like that, just so that it scrambles the names. And at the bottom, switch your field of view to 90. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time seeing people running around you. My video settings are completely custom due to making content on YouTube and on Twitch and having a capture card. Full screen isn't true full screen, by the way, just so you know. Graphic settings, I have it like this because I like the game to look pretty. Audio settings, again, this is all custom because it's made up by my mixer, but the main one I would turn on here is the player chat indicator, so you can see when you're talking, when other people are talking. And then in accessibility options, turn on the high contrast X marks the spot. They're normally red, I like them to be white, and the reduce hold to interact, so you press one button to do certain actions in game. And that's it for the settings. I'm not going to go through anything else. If you have any specific questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And of course, tweak them to your own liking. Okay, current settings out the way, there's one last thing you can do before you even hit adventure. And if you're a new player, I don't even think you see these 2 buttons. It's been so long, and because they added this in after I'd already started the game, and I really wish that this was in at the start of the game, the Maiden Voyage, I definitely recommend doing this. You learn how to repair, how to eat, how to cook, use a map. You can learn how to fish here. You get your first little taste of adventure in the story mode. It's all narrated by the Pirate Lord, which is pretty cool, to be honest. Check it out, learn at your own leisure, and then come back to this video. And please, let me know what you thought of the first little voyage that you do from this island. If this had been in the game when I first started, I'd have been so hyped. And I'm not really a hyped person. In fact, that gives me a good idea. I'm going to get my son to give me a reaction on the Maiden Voyage. When you first load into adventure mode, you end up here in the tavern. In fact, every time you load into adventure mode, you end up in the tavern. But the first time, you end up here at the table. And you'll get a small tutorial which will give you a few things to do. So go ahead and do that, and we'll talk more about the things on the rest of the island afterwards. Once the tutorial's out of the way, you want to outfit your character in some fancy looking or not so fancy looking pirate equipment. So you have a clothing shop here, you have an equipment shop here, and my favorite shop, you have the weapon shop over here. If you want to buy something, there's an NPC inside each one of the shops. You go in, talk, browse the stock, and decide on what you want to have. The things that you already own are signified by this little green tick here. Sometimes there's free stuff in there. They'll normally tell you on their website if it's free or not. There'll also be locked stuff, which will tell you how to get it. So this one, for example, we need to complete the skilled high caliber Sea Dog commendation, which you can find a little bit later on. Now, I don't want to insult your character here, but you're probably pretty poor, so you're not going to be able to buy anything you want. But there is a way to earn gold in this game. And thankfully, after, you know, it is a pirate game, you can do voyages for the trading companies. You have the merchant lady here who will give you voyages to be able to deliver things or collect things. You have the Order of Souls lady that's inside this tent over here. She'll give you bounty missions to hunt down skeleton lords. Or you can visit the Gold Hoarder, who'll give you the classic X marks the spot maps or riddles to solve. And once you do those, bring back the spoils, hand them in, you'll get gold and you'll be rewarded for it. And then you'll be able to spend them in the shops. However, there are several other ways that you can earn gold within the Sea of Thieves. You could complete commendations. You could just find loot randomly lying around on other people's ships. Or you can visit events that are going on within the Sea of Thieves. And I'm not saying you should visit that cloud up there in the sky, because I want to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But there's a cloud in the sky there. Maybe check it out. And bring a friend. Before we pick up voyages and set off on an adventure, we need to restock our ship. Now the ship comes with a standard amount of supplies, but it's never enough. What you want to do is you want to find these barrels and loot them. You'll find cannonballs, foods, special cannonballs, cursed cannonballs, throwables, bait, and planks to be able to repair your ship. Now, cannonballs you obviously use to shoot out of your cannons enemies. Cursed cannonballs is the same, but they have special effects. Throwables are basically hand grenades. Special cannonballs like chain shot to take down masts. Food to replenish your health or feed the animals on your ship. Bait for fishing or eating. And then planks to be able to repair your ship. Once you've got enough supplies, you want to find where your ship is docked. Head over there. And once on board, you want to put your supplies away. There's a dedicated barrel for the cannonballs, throwables, and special cannonballs. There's a dedicated barrel for the planks, and this is planks only, called the wood barrel. And there's a dedicated barrel for the food. So this will be for bait, food, which is cooked or uncooked meats, etc. On your ship, you have your mast, you have your capstan, and your wheel. You also have your cannons and your harpoons, your map table, and your voyage table, and your pet cage. There are other places across the Sea of Thieves where you can find supplies. Out on the water, you'll find floating barrels, shipwrecks, other players' ships, and you'll find other barrels on other islands as well. So don't worry if you don't find enough here to be able to do what you want to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a voyage. We're going to speak to the merchant and pick up a cargo run. Now I know you're going to want to probably dig up some chests and do the classic X marks the spot, and I get it. But if you want to earn some easy money and have an easier experience with the game, I recommend a cargo run to begin with, just to get used to the sailing and interacting with things. So buy a cargo run, signified by being called a cargo run usually here. We've missed it. It's back on the other screen, but it has the little bits of cargo, the silk, the plants, the rum, etc. To buy those, you'll notice that this has cost me money. At the lower ranks, it doesn't cost as much money, and I believe at the beginning ranks, it costs nothing. Take it back to your ship. Find the voyage table that we pointed out before. Pop it down by clicking Voyages, picking a cargo run. This is what I meant about the silk, the rum, the plants, etc. Place that down, and depending on the amount of people in your crew, depends on how many people have to vote on the voyage itself. As I'm solo, it's only me. If you're on a galleon, I believe it's 3 of 4 that needs to vote on it. And then you'll get this little cinematic thing, and you'll be given a voyage. Check out what you got to do. So this is the Merchant Alliance. I need to get 8 things from Chief Trader Molly from the Sanctuary Outpost. Now I know that this is Sanctuary Outpost because I've been here quite a few times before. But if you want to check, find the map, zoom in enough so that the names show. You'll see that at a certain distance they don't show. And you'll find that this is Sanctuary Outpost. Then we'll go over and find Chief Trader Molly, which is exactly the person that we've just got the quest from. You notice that she has a different option now, collect cargo. So I press F, and now I can't see. Now what I like to do is I like to grab everything and place it on the floor, so I know exactly what I've got and I can prioritize how I'm gonna store it on my ship. I'm not going to do this voyage in its entirety, but with a merchant voyage you can read a delivery note on each of the crates and it'll tell you where it needs to go by a certain time. Sea of Thieves story mode is called Tall Tales. You'll find your first one in the tavern, in any tavern across the Sea of Thieves. The rest I'll let you find yourself, but I'll give you a little hint. Check your ship's map, and I highly recommend that you do these story mode quests. They're a lot of fun and really well told. We're about ready to set sail, but there's one thing we haven't talked about yet, and that's your personal player inventory. You can check everything that you have by pressing tab, so you can see what's in your carryable inventory here, such as cannonballs, food, bait and planks. You see how much space you have left to carry extras. If it's red here, it means that you're full. You can check your equipment to quickly find things if you're not used to the radio menu. Your reputation, which is with your traders, such as the gold hoarders. You see how far along you are on the Tall Tales, and your special adventures called Build Rat Adventures. And you can see the quests that you currently have in your inventory so that you can scroll through and find them. You can quickly check if you have a gold hoarders in your inventory that you can put down next, or if you need to pick up more. That's the long way really of getting through to your inventory. There is a quicker way using the radial menus here. You can go through to more, find your instruments, and then back to here. You can also find your throwables. It's all pretty intuitive, you just follow the prompts on screen. The other part to your inventory is your weapons. So you can choose between two different weapons. Me personally, I normally carry around a sword and a rifle, but there are definitely situations where having different weapons is important. So as with over by the weapons shop, there is an armory crate on every ship. There's also one on the Ferry of the Damned as well. You can pick what you want to choose. So if you want to carry 2 guns, you can carry 2 guns. But having a sword and a rifle, or a sword and another gun, is definitely more preferable in most situations. If you want to know a bit more on my personal PvP tips and tricks, check out my other videos. They'll be somewhere in the top right hand corner. Once you're out on the seas, you're going to encounter a few dangers. There's only one that I'm going to tell you about, and this one here, which is the storm, which you can see across the entire map, as this person has found out. There are definitely other dangers out there, but the beauty of Sea of Thieves is learning the game yourself and finding out that adventure. Of course, you can go ahead and spoil it and find out if you want, but again, I would definitely recommend you just find out by yourself. There are 2 additional trading companies in the game, and one of them is the Hunter's Call. And the Hunter's Call deals with fish and cooked meat. So if you want to sell fish and cooked meat, you bring it to a Hunter's Call that is at a trading post which are littered around the Sea of Thieves. Quite easy to find on the map, they are labelled as trading posts. If you want to fish for yourself though, you just get your rod, put some bait on there, and then cast your rod. And then as it says, wait for the fish to bite. But I'm not going to catch a fish here. If you want to know more about fishing, I'll put it in another video. The second additional trading company is the Reaper's Bones, and this is a dedicated PvP faction that is dedicated to hunting down other ships and taking their stuff and handing it in. But primarily it's designed to take down other emissaries. Each trading company has the ability to set up a emissary, except for the Hunter's Call. What an emissary does is the more loot you have on your ship, the more it's worth when you hand it in. So you vote on the table, and what it does is it puts a flag on top of your ship, as displayed up there. It's important to note with the Reaper's Bones faction that by having this emissary flag on your ship, you're now visible on the map to everybody else. There are other types of flags that you can put on your ship though. You can create alliances with other ships, which allows you to share a portion of their loot. Neither of you loses anything, but you actually all gain. So if you were to hand in a chest worth 1,000 gold by yourself, it would be worth 1,000 gold. If you were to hand in a chest that's worth 1,000 gold, when you're in an alliance with another ship, they then get a percentage, which is 50%. So you get 1,000 and they get 500. So effectively it makes that chest worth more. As you get into an alliance, you have to set your alliance flag up. by going to the flag box on the top of your crow's nest and setting up Offer Alliance. This means that other ships can then join your alliance because they will be able to see your alliance flag up there. There are other flags that you can put on your ship, just cosmetic ones along here, but there is one that you should be wary of putting on your ship because it functions very much like the Emissary Reaper's Bones flag, and this is the flag of the Reaper's Mark, and it will show you on the map. As you can see, I'm shown on the map here by the Reaper's Emissary flag, which you can take down at any time. You just have to visit an Emissary flag table for the Reaper's Bones, or any other Emissary table. By doing this, it will take down your Emissary flag, but you can see that I still have my Reaper's Mark flag up, which will still mean that I'm shown on the map. As you can see here, I have the Reaper's Mark, which everybody will be able to see across the entire map. Very much like this Reaper's chest here, I can see this anywhere. So if I was to pick this up, it would be on my ship and you'd be able to see it. This leads me on to PvP. You've got to be aware that there is PvP in the game, and at any time, anyone from another crew can attack you and try and sink your ship or take your stuff. There are no rules on this other than, well, realistically, just don't be a That's all the developers ask from you. There is a pirate code in the tavern that you can read, but it's pretty much common sense when it comes to that. So what happens when you die? In Sea of Thieves, you die when you lose all of the HP in this bar. It doesn't matter how you die, you're going to be sent back to the ferry. Depending on how you died, you can get a different kind of lantern from here. So dying by fire has given me a red lantern. Not every reason for dying has a coloured light though. All you need to do is wait for this door to open and you'll be respawned on your ship. So what is the end game of Sea of Thieves? Well, some say it's to reach Pirate Legend. I don't agree. I think that there is no end game in Sea of Thieves, and there's always something different and new that you can do in the game. There's always challenges you can set yourself or follow from community challenges. It really is down to you what you do with Sea of Thieves. We've covered so many topics here, and not even in depth at all. I love breaking down games, and it's been difficult to give you guys such vague answers and go back to the basics after so long, because back in my day, you had to walk uphill both ways in the snow just to get to your ship. However, I do feel that a simple guide is best for a new player, because we really could have gone down some rabbit holes of information. There are some specialized topics on the channel about different things like using the cannons, PvP tips and tricks, using the revive system, and there are more videos coming which will be way more newer player friendly too. If you think I've missed something or you'd like more details on something, visit me on Twitch and you can get it in real time. Drop me a comment here and I'll reply when I can, and if it's a big enough topic, I'll make an entire video on it. I've been ToejahM. I've been your temporary ship's captain. I'll see you later. Say noobs.
Noobs.
Say you suck.
Say you sunk. They are away now. They are away now. They're away.
They're gone. We got them all, didn't we?
Yeah.